What's up guys, Joseph Williams at Jaws Fitness, sitting here with a bowl of sriracha chicken. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and let's get started.
All the pain.
What's up guys, so title of this video is me doing arms with Frank McGrath or something similar to that. And yes, I did do arms with Frank McGrath at the weekend of the Dallas Europa. Here's a couple clips.
How many days a week, or how often, that is, you get to do triceps with Frank McGrath? He's just over here going ham. He gives no F's. Alright guys, I've been following Frank since I was 15, and now I'm finally doing arms with him. Life's complete.
Basically, they were having a meet and greet, train and eat kind of get together with the Animal crew. A bunch of guys were there. John Jewett was there, Frank McGrath, Dan Vella, Darren Sliker, a bunch of guys from Animal. Some of those names you might know, some you might not. Basically, there are a few guys that were like me, quote unquote fans or whatever, and we got to hang out, just do a Q&A sort of thing with Frank, and there wasn't a lot of guys that showed up there, but basically they catered some food from Chipotle. They had some t-shirts and samples and stuff like that they gave out, and it was like a free event that was going on. It was super cool. A lot of the other guys went and did their own thing. I hung around, waited to see what Frank was going to do, and then me, Frank, and Brian, the gorilla chemist, and some other kid, I actually don't remember his name, so sorry if you're watching this, but just the four of us did arms together, and it was fantastic. It was like a little dream come true. Frank is one of my favorite bodybuilders of all time, and that's mainly because when I was about 15, 16 years old, I had a guy give me one of the original Animal training manuals, or owner's manual, whatever it was called. And due to that, I got to follow a little bit about Animal, or I got to learn a little bit about Animal Pack and Universal Nutrition. I started following the career of Frank, Evan Centopani, just a bunch of those guys. And basically, he was kind of like my idol when I was a high schooler. It was one of those, I want to look like Frank when I'm older. I want to be Frank McGrath. He's kind of what got me into bodybuilding as a teenager, playing football and stuff like that. So it was kind of like living my childhood dream, getting to work out with Frank McGrath. You know what I mean? I was able to get a few clips. Here's one of Frank just training me through one set of biceps.
Yeah, make it hard. There you go. Nice. Control the weight. Come on, easy. Come on, big arms. Let's go. Yep. That's it. Come on, a couple more. Slow them down. Yeah, make it hurt, make it hurt. Come up. Yep, yep, yep. Oh, you got it.
So fast forward to the next day, I'm hanging out with Frank and the guys from Animal at the Europa, and I was wanting to get a little bit of a YouTube interview going, maybe just like a Q&A sort of thing, just one-on-one, me and Frank. Unfortunately, due to some contract violation stuff, he wasn't allowed to do that. But just me relating the information to you guys from our conversation, I asked him a few different things. I asked him one about competing, I asked him another about nutrition, and I asked him another about training styles. We'll start with training style. He's talking about how he only trains one body part per week. He's always done the whole bro split of the one body part per week thing, and it's worked for him. He said on most days he'll go about one body part every 4 days. So if he hits chest on Monday, he's not going to hit chest again until at least Friday or Saturday, that sort of thing. And then we talked about volume and intensity, and he said most days he likes to go pretty intense during his sets, and after the set is over, he likes to wait till his heart rate gets to about a normal level before he hits his next set. but he tries to keep everything fast paced, and he likes working out alone because he's able to monitor that. And he's not having to wait on someone else if he's ready to go sooner than what they are, or when they're finished or whatever. The next thing he talked about was going hard and heavy or kind of slow and light. And he said he mixes both. Basically, he just goes by feel. Some days he'll go in there, go balls to the walls, super heavy weight, and just crushing it every single rep. And then other days it's pretty light, slow and controlled, just keeping it steady. The workout that we did, it was the arm workout that we did was one of those slow and steady, kind of lightweight, just focusing through the reps, making sure you're getting a good eccentric and concentric force production throughout the movement. The next thing we talked about was nutrition and how important protein and carbs were. And I don't know if you've ever watched any of Frank's videos with Animal Pack. He's not the smartest guy in the world when it comes to biochemistry, but he knows his crap when it comes to being a bodybuilder and eating for bodybuilding. In his personal opinion, protein is one of the most important things that you can consume, but unfortunately he thinks it gets abused and people eat the 2 grams per pound, 3 grams per pound. He said it's just not necessary. He said anywhere from 1 to 1.25 grams per pound is pretty sufficient. And it's funny that he says that because that mimics some of the research that's done by Lane Norton, and Lane suggests that all you need is about 1 gram per pound. So I thought that was very interesting, especially since I've experimented in the past on my own body with protein consumption and muscle size and that sort of thing. And then he was talking about carbs and how carbs are underutilized in today's age. He was talking about how a lot of people demonize carbs, and carbs are not only fuel, but they also help in building muscle size. And it's true. You know, you're constantly trying to fill those glycogen stores in the muscles so that way you can have a better pump, that way you can have readily available sugars to help flow into the bloodstream to keep you pushing forward. Last but not least, we talked about competing, and he was saying that he wants to compete very soon because it's been a while since he competed, and I was telling him that I've never actually competed, but I do eventually want to, and I asked for his advice on that, what it typically would be for someone like me who's never competed. And he said basically you have to pick a show and you have to stick with it. You have to be consistent with whatever that is. If it's in November, it's in November. If it's next June, it's next June. But you have to find that show, mark it on your calendar, get it cranking to the point to where you know what you're gonna do, you know how you're gonna do it, you've got your game plan. If you're gonna hire a coach, hire a coach. But basically have your game plan, be consistent with your game plan, and then push forward from there. So that way you have the best ability to do the best that you can. One of the things that he was talking about was not getting wrapped up in a lot of hype, and how you need to just do you. If you go into a mindset of, oh, I'm never gonna be as big as Phil Heath, you're right, you won't be as big as Phil Heath. Or I'll never be as good as Chris Bumstead, you're right, you're not going to be as good as Chris Bumstead. But if you go into the mindset of, hey, I want to be an IFBB pro, it might take you a year, it might take you 10 years, but you can make it happen as long as you are consistent, as long as you push forward towards your goals, and as long as you are making the progress forward. Now, me personally, I would love to compete. I don't know when I'm competing. I am feeling pretty lean right now. I'm in the 180s or something like that. I want to do classic physique, maybe even middleweight bodybuilding. I'm looking at maybe late October, early November of this year, which would put me somewhere between 16, 17 weeks out. And I feel like I'm at a pretty good start if I were to start prep right now. So we'll just have to see. We'll have to see what the rest of the summer holds for me. We'll have to see how things turn out. I would like to go ahead and say, yes, I am competing. But in the same sense, I said that forever ago, and then life happened and I couldn't do that because of the circumstances that were going on in my life at that time. Right now, I would like to think that the circumstances are a lot better than they were then, so I might be looking for a show soon. We'll see. Go ahead, comment down below. Do you think I should compete in classic physique, men's physique, or middleweight bodybuilding? Or hell, all three. You decide. I want to hear it in the comments. If you like this video, like it, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you next time.